As Winerist are the official travel partner for the wine show, we thought we'd talk to Joe Fattorini about the hottest wine travel destinations for this year, beards, near-death experiences, and of course, if Joe Fattorini were a wine grape, which one would he be? So what's your name and where'd you come from?
My name is Joe Fattorini and I'm a Yorkshireman. You can always tell a Yorkshireman, you can't tell him much. Whee! Full of the jokes. I'm drinking sherry. No, I'm not. I'm going to behave now. Right, I'll behave. Concentrating.
Yeah.
Serious.
What are your top picks for wine travel destinations this year?
Weirdly, Bordeaux is more fun now than it probably ever has been. And Bordeaux is one of the great classic wine regions. What is it? 40% of the world's Merlot is grown in Bordeaux. And you think it's going to be dull. I think Bordeaux is great fun now. Italy, literally anywhere. There's nowhere in Italy I've been to where I haven't said it's great. Chianti Classico is my favourite. It's so beautiful and rolling and dramatic, and there are lovely people and history, and oh, it flows. Georgia was the single greatest place I've been travelling to in the last year, and now there are direct flights from UK, which mean you don't arrive at 3 in the morning, which was traditionally the problem with going to Georgia, is that you had to turn up and leave in the middle of the night. And you don't have to anymore. And the food history there is phenomenal. The wine culture, oh, it's remarkable. And it's sort of untouched. And South America, big fan of South America, Chile and Argentina. Brazil is next on my list, Brazil and Uruguay. People say it's very Tuscan in that part of the world. South America is full of utterly beautiful people who are passionate about what they're doing and often have an interesting pioneering spirit, which sort of comes through. But actually that's what wine travel's about. You go to fun places, you have fun times with fun friends, drinking interesting things, you meet weird, interesting people.
Do you know yet where you're going to go in Series 3 of the wine show?
When people talk about the next series, this was the same with Series 2, is it's mostly people cross that you didn't go to their country. So I am broadly abused by New Zealanders quite a lot, Uruguayans quite a bit, Spaniards, although we don't even really go to Spain in Series 2, we go to the Basque Country. So we haven't yet actually been to Spain proper. Portuguese people weren't even remotely happy that we went to the Douro Valley. It's like, you must come back, you haven't done us nearly enough. And then, oddly, you get people who say, why have you not been to they'll pick some weird region, why have you not been to Savigny yet? It's quite a small region. Well, this is disgraceful, We've been to the Loire, not where we are, and they get quite cross. Greece we haven't done other than Santorini, so mainland Greece. Around Thessaloniki, actually, as one of the first places I went to as a trip was the wine roads of Thessaloniki, and it's beautiful and fascinating. The wine's amazing, the food's really, really good, the history's extraordinary. There is a winery where Aristotle taught, sort of on the site of where he taught, that kind of thing. So the history is out of this world.
You didn't mention Yorkshire wine there.
There are Yorkshire wines. Leventhorpe has been there for a long time. There's wineries in Sweden I'd like to go to. I'm married to a Swede, and we went to Gotland, and there are wineries on Gotland, which is this sort of Viking island in the Baltic Sea. And I've had wine from Sweden.
Do you think you'll ever make your own wine?
I have never toyed with the idea of making wine. Mostly because about the first thing I remember in the wine world is that line, how do you make a small fortune in the world of wine? You have a large fortune and you make wine. Maybe a cuvée. I'd do a cuvée. There is 1 barrel's worth of wine that does have my name on the label. The Cuvée Boyau, Oxygérès, from 2014, from the Hospice de Beaune. I bought a barrel and it says Wine Show Joe Fattorini on the label.
What's your desert island wine?
Can I have 2? I'm allowed a red and white?
Yes.
In which case I'll have white Bordeaux, so underrated, and it's fabulous, and it goes with literally everything from roast chicken through to interesting fish, depending on how much oak there is, and Chianti Classico, just because. And I think really big wine people, what we really love, really nice Chianti Classico and spaghetti bolognese.
Can you describe the biggest mess up on the wine show this series?
Nearly dying in the Bordeaux Marathon. And that was me. Nearly died in the Bordeaux. I say nearly died, I was very, very ill. I ran as Obi-Wan Kenobi and massively misjudged that it was going to be 36 degrees as we went round. Got impossibly hot. Got halfway around, I'd lost about 10 kilos in fluid. And I got to the end, we were fine, and then started cramping, and then I sort of passed out on a stretcher whilst they were shoving drips into me, and the producer gently sort of stroking my forehead, thinking he is going to come back round again, isn't he? But she said she'd never heard a man scream like that before. I was in so much pain. It was a properly serious mock-up as well. That was the biggest we've had.
Serious question. Who has the best dress sense?
Who has the best dress sense? I think Matthew Good. But he's an amazing clothes horse. I mean, he just looks really lovely in clothes. Reese looks like a mess. And actually, to be honest, James Beale is a bit the same. They're both very rugged. But you sort of go, should we tuck the trousers in belt? And oh, no, we're wearing old trainers. Again, oh good. Whereas Goody always looks quite sort of slick and smart. With Matthew Reese in Series 1, he had his big beard. He's the best beard grower in the show. Big beard. And it fitted his image to also be vaguely shabby as he sort of trundled around.
Okay, but who's got the best palate?
Matthew Reese kind of knew he liked wine, but he knew literally nothing about it. He had no real sense of what it was. And he had vague notions that he didn't like sweet stuff, and he liked it dry, and he liked it wet. That was sort of it. Goody kind of knows something about wine, but he's not quite sure if it's the right thing. So quite often I found I was validating other choices that he'd already made. So he would say, I really like this Barolo. This is good, isn't it? I go, yes, it's a very good. And you could see, and there is a sort of type of person, they go into the shop and they kind of know things, and somebody's once told them that Saint-Emilion's a good choice. He fitted that mould. So often I'd bring something out and say, oh, I've tried this. This is nice, isn't it? And he wouldn't say, this is nice. He'd say, this is nice, isn't it? And I go, yeah, it is nice. Yeah, you have a great palate.
Finally, Joe, what's your vinalogy? Which wine grape would you be and why?
What would I be if I was a wine? Weirdly, I think I would be some kind of Sangiovese. There's an element of sort of rough and tumble about it, slightly sour and bitter on occasions, but can soften to loveliness.
Great talking to you as always. Thanks very much.
Pleasure.
Thanks for watching. Do check out our Winerist Wine Show page for tours and experiences inspired by the Wine Show.